Okay, we're back with turn 2 of the Downeasters at the Wall, 5 p.m. turn, and we're looking to see what's going to happen here to the Confederate attack as well as the Union defense. So I've already rolled for the initiative, and I'll slide you over here, and you can see right up here the Union actually won, and they actually won in a dominating mode. So they will actually be able to activate one additional brigade in this first action phase. So remember, they can do 2 by default, but now we can add 1 more in there as well. So I think what they're going to do is obviously Detrobrand, Burling, and then I think we'll get Tilton moving in here as well to move up, and that should give them some good positioning on the Stony Hill as we move along here. So with that said, let's get started with the activation. Let's start with Detrobrand here. He's in a good position. He's in engage mode. He does have 1 disruption on him. I should say the 17th has 1 disruption on them. So we'll see what we want to do with that. I'm just thinking about if they're going to change orders, and they could go into a defend mode, which I'd like to do here, but the problem with the defend, and here let me show you the chart here again, is it's one that's pretty much a static defense where you have the here we go, where you have the ability to fire and regroup, go to ground, opportunity fire, and things like that. But there's not much mobility, and I think we're going to keep them in engage now that I'm looking at it. So they'll stay in engage. They won't change their orders. And here, let's see. Burling is the same thing. They're okay, and Tilton is going to be in maneuver. So no order change on that. So let's start over here with Detrobrand and these units. And I think what I'm going to get them to do, now they have a base of 3 actions. It is an engage. They get 1 free fire action. They can move up to 3 times, plus they've got the leader with them, so there's actually going to be 4. All right. So I think first off, we're going to get them to reorganize here a little bit. We're going to get rid of the 1 disorder that's on them for 1 activation. So that brings them down to 3. And then I think they've got to take a shot back at the 59th Georgia again. And they can use their free activation. Let's see, they've reorganized already, so that's done. They're not going to move, so everything's just going to be a fire. So they get 3. So 1 of these shots is going to be the fire action, and then the next 2 plus 1 more are going to be additional volleys. So they will get 3 additional volleys, and they will start on a 30 because they're point blank right there, and then they get 3 more 15, so they go up to 75 before they start losing stuff for woods and the stone wall. So they'll go back down to 60, and then for the stone wall, it's going to be back down to 50. So 50 or better. That's a pretty good shot. Let's see what they get. Oof. They roll a 9. There we go. So that is actually murderous fire on them. So that shot really laid into them, pushing them back. Moving along the line, the next one here, the first of 3 is going to fire, is going to have 3 activations with additional fire activation, and they don't need to reorganize. They're just going to shoot. So it's going to be 1 shot, and then the rest are going to be additional volleys. So that's going to be 3 more. So it's going to be basically the same shot. 50% chance of shot and the 59th. They roll a 44. That's going to be a hit. So ultimately that's going to disrupt them, but we'll put a hit on him. And let's see, those are the 2 that can fire. Now we've got the 17th over here, the 3 of 3, but he still doesn't have anybody to shoot at. So he's just going to sit there, unfortunately. I hate to not be able to do anything with him, but that's pretty much it. So that's all for the 17th. Now let's slide over to the 110th over here. Yeah, let's actually reposition here a little bit. I'm actually going to zoom you in here too, just so you can see them a little bit better. And right there, because they are battle worn. See how far I can go. There we go. They are battle worn, so they're going to be in a tough position. Plus, they're not part of this, so this is still going to have an open flank. But what I think I will do with them, first off, is give them their actions. They have 3 actions. First actions, they're going to pivot like that for 1. Now, that can trigger opportunity fire from the 8th Georgia. So, the 8th Georgia, which is still under engage, can opportunity fire. So they're going to be on 30, but they are disrupted, so it's going to be down 5. So it's going to be 25 to hit. They roll a 16, so that is a hit. And that's applied immediately, so they automatically go disrupted 1. All right, that's it for the 16th Georgia, or the 8th Georgia shooting up here. Now these guys can shoot, and they're going to shoot at the 8th Georgia. That's the closest. So they'd be able to shoot with, let's see, they had 3, they pivoted, that's 2, they're under engage, so it'll be 1 fire, and then 1 additional, and then 1 additional again. So they'll start at 30, go up to 60. They have a disruption, so they'll be down to 55. Or actually, what they could do is... I think that's what they'll do. Hold on. Before I do that, what they're going to do is use their reorganization action to get rid of the disruption. That just gives them 1. Then they're going to fire. So that's going to be on the 30. And at point blank, they'll get another one for 15. So that'd be 45. So that's a little bit worse than the 55, but get rid of the disruption, which is key. They roll a 42. What did I say? 45 was the number. So they actually get a hit on them. Oh, and I forgot to apply my hits over here. Let's stop and back up and do that. So these guys took murderous fire. And then we've also got 1 hit over there. So they go to disruption 2. There we go. So they take a hit on them, and let's see, they're the only unit, so I don't even need to put them on there, but they'll just go up to a disruption 2. Alright, so the Union is holding out here pretty well so far, but we'll see how it goes. Next, we have the Michiganders, and I think Yes, I think these guys are going to come up. So I think I'm going to take him first. So he's going to get 3. And he can potentially take some shots. So he can go 1, 2 to there. That's going to be battle range. So that's only going to be at 20%. And then with 3 more, that's going to be 50%. So that's pretty good. So, okay, so they're going to take a shot. No movement, so it's going to be 2 extra. So it's going to start at the 20%, and then go up 2 and then 3 because they get the extra 3 volleys. So that's going to be 10% each, so it's going to go up to 50%. And I'm looking for anything else that's going to subtract, and nothing. So it's a 50% shot. We'll go against the 9th Georgia over here. Roll a 32, which is a hit. All right, so that's going to be a disruption, added disruption on them. And they're done. And then we've got the other Michiganders over here that they'll need to fire straight ahead because the 8th Georgia is 1 away. This is 2 away. So they'll fire at the 8th Georgia. They'll have 3 plus their extra volley. So again, it's going to go to 50%, no, excuse me, 30% to start, and then 15, 15, 15, 75% before it loses 15 back to 60 for the woods. So 60% chance of shot. Let's see what happens. They roll an 84, so that is a miss. That was a good chance of getting something, but they got an 84. All right, so that's a miss. All right, well, they still did pretty good on there. And that's it for Detrobrand. He's all done with his brigade, so we'll flip him over. And now we'll go with, I think, Burling here, because he's got engage. He can actually, 115th can actually fire on them, and I think that's what they want to do. I mean, they could move up, but that just blocks people in. I think we'll just hold here and shoot. So he gets 2 activations, but he is engaged, so it's going to be an extra fire. So he's at 2 hexes, so that's going to be a 20% to start, plus 2 more extra volleys. So that's going to get him up to 40%. These guys are in the road, which is open, so it's going to be a 40 or less. And they roll an 85, so that's a miss. All right, so they missed. So now these guys over here, they have 2. They have an activation of 2. And with the leader in there, that's going to make 3. So now what to do with them? Because I can't shoot at anybody because that blocks anything out of here. So best thing they can do is move. But even if they move, they have to turn 1 and then go in here for 2. Oh, well, then the leader could rally them or redress them for 3. Okay, let's do that. Continue the line because we're going to have Tilton come up here and reinforce us. So they're going to pivot for 1, move up for 2, and then redress for 3. Now there's no opportunity fire here because opportunity fire, remember, is only adjacent. Alright, that puts them there, and that kind of solidifies the line, sort of, kind of, maybe. And he's done. Okay, moving along, Tilton. He's over here. Going to be a maneuver, so his units are going to start with 2. He helps them out, doing a 3 because he's stacked with them. Their maneuver gives an extra 1, 4, and they're on the road, that makes it 5 if they want. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then redress for 5. And then these guys are going to start out at 2. Extra movement makes 3. And on the road makes 4. So it's going to be 2, but it's going to go up to 4. So that will allow them to go 1, 2, 3, and turn for 4. They don't have to redress because they didn't cross any fences or anything. And then last one here, they've got 4 as well, 2 plus road and movement, so 1, 2, 3. And they stop there. Okay, and that's all for Tilton. Okay, so that was actually pretty good. That puts the Union in a pretty good spot. 17th is holding out quite nicely over here as well. They've really stung the Georgians a little bit with disruptions. And oh, I did it again. Forgot to put my extra disruption on the 9th Georgia up here. They're at 3. That's getting a little worrisome. So we'll have to see about that. But yeah, so that's all for the Union with it. And as I said, the 17th is holding out well. And one of the things I wanted to bring up with the 17th is, some of their history. Talked about Fredericksburg in the last video. Now, talk a little bit about them. One of the reasons why they held out so well, they did accumulate experience pretty quickly. After Fredericksburg and then into Chancellorsville, they were kind of in the midst of the attack and the counterattacks against Jackson's flanking maneuver. They had been positioned out and actually had started to pursue Jackson, what they thought was pursue Jackson as part of his retreat, because originally it was thought that Jackson was retreating on the Union side, and so the 3rd Corps was designated to go out and kind of watch that and see where they were going and what they were doing. It was a big mistake overall, as Jackson moved into the flank and attacked the 11th Corps. Well, the 3rd Corps just happened to be due south of that attack, and they were one of the first designated to about face and head back up to counterattack. They led the counterattack in the middle of the night. It was around somewhere between 10 and midnight that they formed up and then attacked. Did not succeed very well, and they had to fall back, but they took a number of casualties there. Then as the morning crept up, they again were attacked by now Stuart in command and pushed back into the Union lines and taking even more casualties as they came in there. But there was a number of noted stands by the 17th and several of the companies of the 17th holding out so that the other Union troops could actually retire in good order with that. So they participated quite a bit. They were also in the midst of the Chancellor's Manor, the house there. When the final attacks came, they provided some semblance of reserve to hold off the Confederates' attack before the retreat was ordered back up over the Rappahannock and back into Fredericksburg. So they got quite a bit of experience there. They were noted in several of the after-action reports and reports by the not only brigade commander, who was General Hammond at this point, because General Berry had been promoted to divisional command, but several were noted in there, and several officers and enlisted were also noted in those reports. So 17th was accumulating experience very quickly, as well as casualties as well. In Chancellorsville, they did take a significant number of dead and wounded. I think in total it was upwards around 100 or so that were either killed, wounded, or missing in there as well. So a little bit more history there as well, kind of giving you the overview of it. We'll get into a little bit more of the lead up to Gettysburg in the next series of videos. But back to our game. So let's go over to the Confederate turn, the second player's activation here, and that's going to be Anderson. Anderson's sitting right here. He's sitting at engage. Now, he's got to make some choices here because he has kind of closed with the Union troops, and it would be nice to kind of knock them back, but they're still in pretty good order. So any type of assault may be a little premature. So I'm thinking we may want to keep them in engage and just fire on them to try to get some disruptions on them as well. And also too, they need to really recover some disruptions here on their side as well, because we do have, like, the 9th has 3. Oops, why do I have 1 there? It should have 3. Did I put a 3 on there? There we go. The 9th has 3, disruptions. They're halfway to the bad point there. We also have 2 on the 59th. We've got 2 on the 8th. We've got 1 on the 11th. So I think we'll keep them in engage, do some firing, try to soften them up. It may mean that reinforcements are going to get to Stony Hill as well as the Wheatfield to help them out. But this line right here is really the critical one. So if we can get there and turn that, we may be able to get these hexes cleared out, and then the Stony Hill won't be as significant for us. But we'll still keep attacking on it. Okay, so let's go with this. So let's start with the 59th over here. Now they are at a disruption 2. So let's see. They first start with 3 activations. Now with the engage, they'll get a free combat activation if they want. So they're going to get 3 activations. So I think what they're going to do, well, they really need to fire on them. That's the 11th over there. And these guys need to move up. All right. I think we're going to start with these guys. They're going to shoot directly across over here. So they've got 3. They're not going to move. They're just going to shoot. So they're going to go down to 2 and start on the 30%. But now 3 extra volleys bring them up to 75%. But then the stonewall knocks them down to 65%. So let's see what this happens here. 65% on them. They roll a 77. So that's a miss. It's a big miss. All right. So they're not doing anything. Oh, I should have actually dropped it 10 more points here, so it should have been 65, 55 on them. Okay. Well, now I'm going to get these units to move up. Now I'll move up 1. And we got 3. I'll move up 2. We've got an extra fire 1 there as well. So, they can opportunity fire. So we're going to take a shot with them. That's going to be 30%, minus 10 for the wall, 15 for the woods. So it's going to be 5% chance of hitting them. And no, they roll a 60. So that's a miss. And now, let's see, they've got to redress, because otherwise they're going to take a hit on that. And then they'll do a fire, and with their extra fire, they'll do an extra volley. So that's going to be 45%. Over the wall, it's going to drop them down to 35%. And plus 2 disruptions is going to bring them down to 25%. 25 or less. They roll a 61, so that's a miss. All right. So they missed. All right. So now what we're going to do is with this other guy over here, he'll have 3. He's going to do a reorganize action for 1 reorganize action to drop their disruption down 1. Okay, so now he's down to 2. He's down to 2. Now he can still move up, which I think I'm going to have him do. So that's 2. And then last one, he's going to redress for 3. Okay. And he can't fire because he's underneath the other one, so that'll be that. So last one over here, he'll have 3, and he'll go 1 to there, and then move up again 2 to there. So he's down to 1. Now there's going to be an opportunity fire here, 30 minus 25, so it's a 5% chance. Ooh, very close. They rolled a 0, and they rolled an 8. That's just a miss. All right, so moved up 2. He's going to redress for 3, and then do his extra fire, which will be straight up. So it'll be 30% minus 10 for that. Oh, wait a minute. He's in the Wheatfield as well, so that's going to be minus 15. So it's only going to be a 15 or less. Oh, but they get it. They roll a 10. So that's going to be a hit on them. So that's going to put some disorder on those guys. Okay. And then the last one over here is these guys. Now what they're going to do is they've got 3 and an extra fire. So first one, they're going to do a reorganization, which is going to drop their disruption to nothing. We've got 2 left, which they're going to take shots. So first is going to be the shot. That'll give them base of 30, and then 2 extra volleys to give them 60. Over the wall, max them down to 50. Okay, here we go. They roll a 34, and that is a hit. Oops, 34. So they take a hit. All right. That's the last unit, so I'm just going to put on 2 disruptions on the 17th Maine. And now the tide turns a little bit, with now them taking the casualties. Okay, that's all for the 59th. Now the 11th, sensing a little bit of interesting action here. I'm going to move Anderson over here so I can see. We've got the 11th here. They've got 1 disruption. So let's see. These are separate, so he could actually move into here. Okay. So we're going to do this. We're going to take, first off, these guys moving up are actually turning. Oops, for 1. I think we'll do the whole stack. 1. And then crossing the creek for 2. So they're down to 1. Oh, wait a minute here. Hold on. Well, that'll be okay because we're going to move up the 8th next door. So yeah, okay, that's fine. It's going to be a little bit of, actually, we'll turn them. I've got disruption on them. I think they'll just turn and fire. So we're going to go back to 2. And top one is going to fire the bottom one. We'll get rid of the disruption. Do a reorganization. Now let's see. How am I going to do this? No, I've got to do the first one there. Okay, so he's going to. He's actually going to get the disruption on there because he can't get it off until the other guy activates, and he'll be second. So he'll shoot over here up at 115th Pennsylvania. So he'll be at battle range. That's going to be 20%. Plus 1 and the extra. Oh, and then the leadership there as well. So there'll be 3. So it's going to be 20% plus 3 additional volleys is going to be 50%. They are in the woods, which is going to drop them back down to 35%. Okay, 35 is better, lower. They're rolling 82. That's a miss. All right, so now we do the bottom one. He moved 1, and then he'll get rid of this with a reorganization. Oh, I forgot to take that off anyways, but it was big miss anyways. So now they're over there. Now we're going to take the other 11th, and he has 3 to start. He does have the extra fire. Put Anderson back. He turns 1. Then he's going to move in here for 2 and capture that victory hex. And so he's gone 1, 2, so he's got 1 left, plus a fire. He's also going to redress. That's going to take care of this, and then he can fire at the 17th with his 1 free volley. So that's going to be 30. Oh, wait a minute. When he moved up here, these guys can fire at them. So they have 2 disrupted, don't they? So it's going to be 30% minus the 2 disruption makes it 20%. I roll a 79. That's going to be a miss. So now the 11th can fire 30%. They have no disruption, so it just stays as 30%. There's no other terrain modifiers. So roll a 26. That's another hit. All right, and that's the last one over there. So we won't put the hit marker on. We'll just take the disruption. Come on, here we go. So the 17th Maine is now, they're now up to 3. That's not good for them. All right, and the 11th is completed. Now we've got the 8th Georgia. Now the 8th Georgia, I'd like to have them, actually they're just going to, they're going to do a reorganize for 1. They've got 4. Ooh, that's nice. 4 plus the extra fire. So 4. They're going to reorganize 1, so that's going to drop their disruption down to a 1. And then into 3. So now with 3, they are going to fire into here. So there'll be 1 for the firing, so that starts them at 30%. And then they have 3 more, which gets them up to 75%. And then disruption brings them down to 70%. Okay, 70% chance. Oh, a 0-2. That is murderous fire. So that's effectively going to eliminate the 110th here, but we'll put this on here for the moment. All right, and now we've got the rest of the units to do. So this guy's going to shoot at him. So he's got 4 plus his extra shot. So he will be just straight firing 30% plus 4 extras. 4 extra volleys is 30, 60, 90%. Ouch. This is going to hurt. 90%. Oh, they roll a 97. They miss and they take a disruption for low ammo. Oh, that's very unlucky. So they'll be disrupted there. All right, 8th Georgia. They're going to do a recovery to get this back down to 1. That was very disappointing. And then they'll just stay there. They'll just do that. We've got 3 more points, but there's nothing good about that now. I could move them up into here between the lines. Or actually move them this way, and then, we'll leave them there. Okay, but they did the damage. They did a murderous fire. Eliminates the 118th. They actually come off the board, and now there's a gap in their line. And now we go to the 9th Georgia, up there. And they've got 3. So first off, I think what we're going to do is this guy back here, he's got 4, but he's just going to do 1 reorganization to get rid of one of the disruptions. And they go down to 2. And now the rest of them are going to take shots. So the 9th Georgia over here, the 3 of 3 is going to actually shoot first. They've got 4 plus their free shot, so that's going to be 90 again, but they've got 2 disruptions, which drops into 80. So 80 or less. Rolls a 37, that's a murderous fire again on them. So they are reduced. And these guys are going to try over here. Same thing. It's going to be an 80 or less. Rolls a 30, another murderous shot. So both of them are going to be reduced. Here and here. And there we have it. Okay, so that's all with Anderson. So we're back to the Union, which now that's going to be, let me zoom out now and move over. It's going to be the rest of Schweitzer's brigade coming on, as well as Wilson's artillery. And I think with the artillery, they're in good position. I'm not real worried about them at the moment. So it's just going to be Schweitzer, and they're going to be maneuvering. So they start with a 2. He's there with them, making it 3. They're on the road 4, and their maneuvering makes 5. So I think with them, we will go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then redress for 5. And these guys will go on, they'll be 3, but they're on the road 4. Yeah, do the extra maneuver for, so 4. 1, 2, 3, and turn for 4. Next group, same thing. They'll come on 2, 3, 2 or 3, 4. Yeah, that. Stay there, and they'll go. Let's see, who was there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and they'll come on 1. They'll come on 1. They'll come on 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. 3 to come on, and then I think they'll turn for 4, and then he'll come on next turn like that. Okay, so that gets us those units on the board. Sorry, glare off the pieces. There we go. Let's turn it this way. And a little bit of glare off the plexi over there, but it's better. We can fix that. Okay, so that is all of the Union with Schweitzer. And that's pretty much every activation over there. So now we move to the close combat. Again, nobody's in assault mode, so there's no close combat. And then mutual disruption. We don't have anybody who's shattered or anybody at the 6th level right now. So that's it for the 5 p.m. turn. Made a little bit of progress here. We've got 1 unit eliminated, the 110th Pennsylvania, out of Detroit Brand's brigade. Gap is opening up over here, leaving Burling open. These guys have been reduced, so that's going to be interesting over here. Confederates are all full strength, but they do have some disruption, which is going to be a problem later on. These guys are back in good shape, but we'll have to take care of that as time moves along here. So with that, that's the end of the 5 p.m. turn. Stay tuned for 5:15.